Today, we are going through all my makeup purchases in 2026. This is all the makeup I purchased this year until now. This is a manageable amount of new makeup introduced in my collection. I was particularly critical this year. We will go through these and see what are regrets, because of course we make mistakes. Despite being so wise and try to reason well about textures and colors and compare it to my collection, I still make mistakes. But I have to say, most of my purchases I don't regret. Let's go through them. So in January, I was fascinated by the Chanel Rouge Noir collection. And I discovered that the Kiko Flirt Alert collection, the Valentine's Day collection by Kiko, had also that Rouge Noir color as inspiration. So I started purchasing from Chanel, but then I realized that the Kiko was not only a better value because of course, the price is much lower compared to Chanel, but even better in terms of products. So practically, I can say that all of these products are inspired by that Rouge Noir theme. The first purchases were these two items by Chanel, and these, both of them are regrets. Now, this pencil, I purchased it because I wanted a sample of the original color, and this was the most practical way of incorporating it in my looks. Is the Stilo You waterproof, so it's meant for the eyes, but I haven't used it as much as I thought I would have used because of course it's too red, but at least is more on the purplish side, so it's very elegant, but I didn't find myself reaching for it. Very expensive way of getting a sample of the color, right? I reached more for the Kiko alternative, and I have a video where I put these on the eyes, so I show the difference on the eyes, both of them. But this Kiko alternative to me is much better value, still a different color. Is the Kiko one is more burgundy, definitely, but I like these liquid eyeliners by Kiko, and these were kind of 1/3 of the price of the Chanel. Then this was a nice find because this was a 99% dupe to the original Chanel Rouge Noir nail polish. The nail polish had this CC in this red color. I didn't want to spend 30 euros just for a cap with the red CC's plastic, right? I got this for 5 euros. I'm glad I could get a 99% dupe of the original Chanel color for a fraction of the price. And also my mother wanted it as well because it is a long lasting, it's very good quality nail polish. So this is the alternative. I have a video where I compare them side by side and show they are practically the same color. So this was a wise purchase. I'm so glad I didn't buy the original one, but this was a great alternative. I mean, this Rouge Noir color by Chanel is such an iconic color that many brands have duped it and quite well. After this, I purchased this palette by Chanel. Now, this quad is kind of a regret. So I didn't put it on my Vinted because I still think that this is quite unique in my collection, but it was avoidable, to be honest. These two colors on me, they're quite similar. It's not true for all of you. People gave me a feedback that on them, these are different enough. On me, they are quite the same. I like this color. This is a wintry color for my cheeks, quite similar to my Couperos, to be honest, to my redness. I wish there was a pen in the Rouge Noir, in the True Rouge Noir, instead of this one, for example, that for me is too warm. And this is quite common pink highlighter. This duo was already released by Chanel in previous collection in summer a few years ago, so it's not something new. And also in terms of formula, I prefer Hourglass. This is the baked formula by Chanel. These oversized palettes are in this baked formula, not Argelé, baked formula, but I prefer the Hourglass texture. It's more blurring, is more lightweight, and is less patchy than this. I wouldn't purchase again, and I keep it just for this one for now. Recently, just 2 days ago, I purchased, the Kiko counterpart that I didn't want to purchase in the beginning because it's so similar to this one, and the Kiko counterpart is this one. I would like to show you a side-by-side comparison, although both of these products are discontinued because they were limited editions. So this is the Kiko, and this is the Chanel. You can see that Kiko is more strawberry. Let me see if I can show them side by side. So this is the Chanel, and this is the Kiko. The Kiko is the Argelé formula. Chanel is more purple, is cooler, and Kiko is warmer. So Chanel has still some uniqueness, is more wintry in my opinion, and that's the reason why I'm keeping it and keeping the entire palette. Kiko is better for this season, transitioning towards summer. Then the highlighter, this is the Chanel one. And this is the Kiko one. The Chanel one is this one here. And the Kiko one is this one here. In real life, I don't know what you can see. Maybe let me switch to this, is better in terms of lightning. They're quite close. Let me shear that. So I can see more magenta, kind of more purplish, cooler shimmer in the Chanel, while the Kiko is warmer pink with more yellow in it. Yeah, and looks like the Chanel is more pigmented, but is a different formula. This is the Argelé that I like more because I like to layer and slowly build the color, while this is the Chanel baked formula. So these two are Kiko and these two are Chanel. They are quite similar, right? But I can definitely see, especially in real life, that the Kiko one is warmer. If I can find a hourglass equivalent to this, then I will get rid of the Chanel, because in my opinion, hourglass is superior in terms of texture. So lovely, but probably I wouldn't purchase the Quad by Chanel again. This is another purchase. This is the conclusion of my Chanel Rouge Noir purchases. To be honest, I purchased also the other single. This year was quite a weird year. I have to go back and forth to different places, let's say personal reasons. I missed the time frame to return the eyeshadow back to the store, and therefore I put it on Vinted, 20% off, untouched, brand new, and is the other color. Brune Rose is the darker color. Is a pinkish rose, but I won't swatch it because I want to keep it pristine, because I'm selling 20% off on Vinted. So I will leave, as usual, my link to my Vinted in my description box. It's a way for me either to declutter things that I only swatched, rarely used, or some things like the eyeshadow Brune Rose is brand new. Anyway, so I started with the Brune Rose, then I realized it was too warm after trying it at the counter, but I had already purchased it. And I realized that this was a much of a better fit. And we will see if this will be beaten by the Byredo equivalent, because I think the new palette that is going to be released by Byredo will have a very close color to this one. But let me swatch it. Let me squeeze the swatch here. And let me put it again here. And as you can see, what made me purchase this eyeshadow by Chanel, that by the way, the name is Gris Rose, is the presence of the gray. Is a muted gray, so I find it unique. I also have other videos where I swatch it and compare it to different things. In the beginning, I thought it would have been too light, and so practically a silver, but this was unique for me because it's not too dark, but not too light, and find that middle color is quite rare. Therefore, I wanted it in my collection. I'm happy with this. This is elegant, work appropriate, is maybe the best piece from the Chanel collection. I wanted more of this color on my face, and therefore I decided to buy this Kiko lipstick that is from the Flirt Alert collection, and I think it's still available. and is the number 6. Is a lipstick that is sheer and is a feature that I like because it's almost a colored balm, but you can build up the color, definitely. Perfect match with the Rouge Noir color. So I'm so glad that Kiko had introduced this collection at the same time as Chanel, because then I switched to Kiko and it was much of a better value. This, I used it almost every day because I have it in my purse and I use it as a balm. And it's the way I meant to use it when I bought it. It's a gloss. It's called, again, a limited edition that is still available. This is the number 03. There were 3 glosses and this is the darkest. So happy with the lip products. I had purchased also the original Chanel one and I returned it before opening it because it was more pigmented. This is much more wearable. So these 2 pieces by Kiko are fantastic. This that I purchased 2 days ago, I'm happy I brought it because you see it's more summery. It really depends on your preferences. For some people, these can be exactly the same and do not justify the purchase of both. Maybe if I had purchased the Kiko one first, I think I would have added also the Chanel, but you can see the differences there. Anyway, these are the purchases. Very happy with all of them. Regret are this one. And this because of the price, but if I wanted a sample of the original Rouge Noir color, this was the way to go for me. Or I could have purchased the lipstick instead of this, but I think this is still more versatile. I can still use it as a lip liner for... this was the reasoning behind it that I shared with you in a previous video. This is my obsession with the Rouge Noir color. And then the true color of the year is the blue. And the denim collection by Chanel came. And yeah, I dedicated videos. I tried to resist to this. But then I realized that I wanted this color. And I love this color too. I purchased this quad for 85 euros. Because of these 2 shades. But you know what? Since I only purchased this amount of makeup and these were drugstore prices, I mean, it's not a lot that I purchased until now. So I can justify introducing a piece that sparked me joy and I don't regret it. I like this. Of course, I used this the most. And these, I don't think I will use them. The reality is these are very small to be used on the face. So I was considering using this as a blush, but it's such a small pan. So I don't know if maybe in the summer season I will use these ones. They're definitely summery colors, but they were these blues that to me, they were the most elegant iteration of the blue color in this season. This, for my preferences, for my style, is the best implementation in my favorite formula, that is the Argelé formula. I decided it was worth for me the splurge. I don't like an all blue color. If I put a blue, I then try to mute it down or complement it with a brown. So the perfect pairing for me is not with the liner that is fantastic by itself, but yes, with the espresso liner. And this is my favorite espresso by Chanel, is again a Still You waterproof. Or the Sisley one, let me see, do I have it here? Sisley one is another fantastic alternative. I think it's more expensive, so this I got it in the holiday kit. That's why I have also the Chanel version. Let me swatch them side by side. I will swatch everything, but so this is the espresso by Chanel. Great, cool brown. And my perfect pairing is, let me swatch these 2 blues. See how elegant. This to me is an Armani blue. I like how muted it is. There's some degrees of gray. So let me swatch them here. This is almost silvery. I studied this color in detail, but it looks a tad bluish on my eyes. And yeah, I'm happy. I was obsessed by it. And I said, okay, when I become obsessed with something, I try to dupe it, you know, and reason about it. And in the end, I decided to pick the squad. But I love this paired with the brown as well. I love the combo. And the other good pairing that I love with these ones is with taupes or yellowish taupes. Especially this one by MAC. Let me see if it's something. Ah, yeah, fortunately it's written here. Patina. It's Patina by MAC. Is a yellowish brown without orange. And I find that the combo of blue and this type of brown is very elegant. It's sophisticated. It reminds me of one of my favorite Suku quads that I show you in previous videos. These two colors, so combined with browns, I think it's very elegant. So I didn't use the 4 pens. These are almost untouched by Chanel the way they were meant, but I like to style these colors in the way I would use it. So the espresso, and we were going to compare the espresso one with this number 2 is a matte, it's called the Matte Tonka by Sisley. And you see the difference. This is more yellow, the Chanel one, the espresso, and this is a tad more red, but with much more black in it. I like them both. Sisley one is creamier. He is my favorite liner because it doesn't smudge as much as Victoria Beckham. It's still retractable. That's something that I love. But these are purchases that I made before. The espresso one I purchased for the holidays. It was in a holiday kit. So these are not, these are out of topic in the sense that they are not the purchases I did in 2026. Another purchase from this denim collection. So these were my 2 picks, the quad and this Stilo Io waterproof in blue twill. This enhances the yellow on my eyes. So my eyes become more amber with this color. It's a tad different compared to the blue eyeshadow. In French would be Avion, I think, the right way to describe this color. It's a grayish blue. And the muted quality makes it very elegant. So it's not the bright blues we are all used to. I didn't want to miss these ones after a lot of reasoning that I shared with you in my previous videos. The last purchase that I did in 2026, so these are all my purchases, and the last one was this one by Chantecaille. Already something that I had planned to buy, was just waiting for a discount. I could find it 20% off at Cult Beauty, because for us in Europe, Chantecaille is more expensive than US, especially because we cannot get advantage of the sale on the official website. And yeah, this is the trio that I picked, and I want to compare this purple to the Rouge Noir sample I have. Let me put it here, because I think that, yeah, you see, yeah, this pairs very well. So Chantecaille provided kind of the Rouge Noir color. It's more purple and not burgundy, but I prefer this type of hue instead of the classic burgundy. So it's something blackened that I find it more elegant, more interesting. Again, in this amazing formula. The formula has variations in terms of texture. This is smoother, like more satiny, and the taupe is more metallic, but it's a beautiful color. I picked this trio. I liked all of the colors. This, for me, as I said, I had this in mind to complement the other Rouge Noir pieces I purchased before, but this is fantastic because sometimes pink translates just as champagne, but this pulls out pink on my skin. You can definitely tell it's a pink and not a champagne. And this taupe is the main reason why I purchased this trio. Let me swatch everything. So I would say the taupe, I will swatch it here, so you can see also a comparison with the MAC. And then the pink, I will swatch it somewhere below here. I want to compare this to what I considered an alternative. Let me search for it. Because when I was waiting for the price to go lower to get a discount for this, I said, okay, I can honestly replicate that trio with Kiko. And let me show you. So I said that this Kiko, that was a limited collection from last year, Lumiverse 04 Dusk Dimension. Not sure if it's still available, but looks very similar, right? And I'm curious to know the difference. That's why I left some space here. So this is the Chantecaille, this is the Kiko, and I bet you won't recognize the difference here, right? So they are the same thing. So yeah, I was pretty accurate. Sometimes, you know, I don't need to buy something to recognize the dupe. I paid 14 euros for this, but it went down to half price, 7 euros, something like that. So it's practically a fraction of the price. With the knowledge I have now, maybe I could have skipped it. But yeah, this is a little bit pinkier, but the difference is so subtle, you would not notice on the eyes. Other thing that nobody noticed is that the other trio, the warmer one, I didn't pick it up because these were too expensive. Even 20% off, it was still 65 for a trio, and it's a lot. But I didn't like how lazy they were. I don't know if you noticed that the other trio has this flamingo just enlarged. Is this one? It's just this picture that they enlarged and they made another trio. They practically cut this and made another trio. I think it was so lazy. They could have provided two different versions of the flamingo instead of a copy-paste version. For my coloring, since I prefer cooler tones, this was the best trio out of the two. But if you have warmer skin, then the other one is better. Still not a regret. But yeah, strictly speaking, if I was only interested in the taupe, the Kiko one was already there in my collection. So this could have been avoided, but I still don't regret it yet. And that's it for today. Quite satisfied by how small I went this year, or better to say, I've gone till now. And see you in my next video.